it's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'm a beat reporter. Volleyball question, I'm a beat reporter
too.
too.
That is how they design it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because he's given up 8 goals in 2 games.
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
A little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast, Beckett.
Brady, that's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal,
What are you doing
Brady.
pulling out rhymes,
Brady,
Beckett?
that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
All right.
Are you ready for some debate? Because Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome into Studio 125 for the first episode of Bobcat Breakdown of 2025. I'm your host, EJ Gorman. Alongside me is Zach Stokinger and Jack Bergman. How are we feeling, guys, tonight?
Feeling great. I'm excited to debate.
Yeah, I'm ready to go. Ready for action.
This weekend, the Quinnipiac Bobcat men's hockey team participated in the 5th annual CT Ice Tournament. QBSN has the recap.
Well, Connecticut may be known as the Constitution State, but for the next 2 days, it's all about college hockey here in Martyr Family Arena at Sacred Heart University. The 5th edition of the Connecticut Ice Tournament kicks off today with the Yukon Huskies facing the Quinnipiac Bobcats. Shard, the Scott at the blue line, down to the dot to Shandor, in the slot, Moldoni couldn't get enough on it. Still in the zone, Shandor looking in front, it's Tattle, and he roofs it, and the Huskies lead with 0.5 seconds left, and they're gonna be headed to the championship game. The Huskies have slayed the Bobcats.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. I don't know who we're going to play, but we got to, we want to make the NCAA tournament. At the end of the year, we got to do it. It's not a consolation game. It's a play-in game for us for the NCAA. So it's a good group. Trav does a great job as our captain. He'll get them ready. We'll be ready to go.
The Battle of Whitney Ave is a long-told story of 2 teams at opposite ends of one common New Haven street. Today, that rivalry is renewed once more, but this time we're coming to you about 24 miles south of that street connecting New Haven and Hamden. Today, the Battle of Whitney Ave takes a detour to Fairfield and Sacred Heart University in what will be the consolation game of this year's Connecticut Ice Tournament. Sends it back down low to the circle. Back for Bollinger. Looking for a lane. Bollinger, wrist shot through traffic, didn't get through. Now a shot from the board, they score! From the circle, the cross-ice pass got through, and the Bobcats capitalize on the power play. It's 1-0 Quinnipiac.
Well, in 2 big-time moments, Jeremy Wilmer in his 100th game, and Travis Treelor, he picks up his 100th NCAA point.
The Bobcats improved to 15-8-2 on the season. Yale drops to 5-13-1. The Bobcats secure 3rd place in this year's CT Ice Tournament. And big picture, we'll see what it does for their seeding and their ranking and their chances to get into the NCAA tournament.
I think it is perfect time to get into our debate. The CT Ice Tournament rotates every year with home arenas hosting. Do you think the tournament should always be at XL Center in Hartford, which can seat around 10,000 fans? Zach, you're the men's ice hockey beat reporter. Start us off.
Well, EJ, I'm going to have to say no to this. I don't think that playing games strictly at the XL Center is really going to be good for hockey in the state of Connecticut. You look at arenas such as the Martyr Family Arena. That place was packed, even for a non-shoe game. There was a lot less seats in the Martyr Family Arena than XL. But you look at XL and then you look at Bridgeport, where they used to play the tournament. The seats were empty as well. I'm pretty sure Bridgeport was pretty much empty, and XL Center last year, you can go back to the footage, it was empty. And the XL Center is essentially UConn's second home arena. Mike Cavanaugh, the UConn head coach, thinks we're growing the game there. I disagree. I think he just wants a secondary UConn home game. And I think having the games on campus overall brings college hockey to another level, and I think you lose that by playing it at a neutral site.
Yeah, well, obviously, playing at a site like that might be a little bit different, right? But the neutral site can seat over 9,000 people, because there were over 9,000 people that attended the last UConn hockey game that was in XL Center. And not only could they advertise at the different colleges, they could advertise, that's the stadium that takes place for the Rangers minor league games for the Wolfpack. So they could honestly promote the CT Ice tournament there and just get more viewership like that. Because obviously, you want to continue growing the sport of hockey. So.
I mean, you make some decent points there, Jack, but it's a year-to-year basis thing. UConn is having a good year this year, but they could be 0-18 next year. You never truly know. So, I mean, you're kind of making a risk there. And I think, personally, playing it at the home arenas, they are smaller. It's a better college hockey environment than you would get at the XL Center or in Bridgeport.
Who's home arena? Who's home arena? What year? What home arena are you going to next year? Are you going to
next year? It's going to be at Ingles. I understand it's a tight environment. It's an outdated arena, but I don't think you can argue that having the XL Center and seeing like 4,000 people for a shoe Yale be a good. I don't think that's a good thing for hockey. I think having Yale students watching Yale play hockey against other in-state rivals is better than just having them play in Bridgeport, which is, I mean, like give or take 50 miles from campus. Some kids don't have cars. Some kids can't go watch that.
Yeah, but obviously, on that case, if you have people playing at Yale, how are the shoe students going to get there? It's more of a centralized location.
It's just not. I don't think that the XL Center is good for Connecticut hockey.
Following the 1-1 weekend, head coach Rand Pecknold had to say about where his team stands in the rankings.
You don't want to be at 14. 14's probably not getting in. Listen, we're not going to go 12-0 the rest of the way, but we got to be good. We got to stay consistent. We got to be good, and then there's other things you don't control. You don't control what other teams are going to do, right?
Now that you guys have heard what Pecknold has to say, the team will only play one more opponent in the top 20 of the pairwise rankings in Dartmouth. Do you think the team can go 12-0 to close out the regular season? Jack, what are your opinions on the team's final effort to secure an NCAA tournament bid?
Well, first off, I'm just going to go ahead and say no. There are too many first years. There's a lot of consistency issues with all of the different players, and they could lose their next game in the next 3 days. The first time they played Dartmouth this year, they already lost 4-2, and you could say maybe it's a fluke game, but there's obviously always a chance that they could lose again. It's really a lot easier for this men's team to get upset because not only is there Dartmouth, but they have to play Clarkson twice. Clarkson is ranked number 20, has defeated 2 teams that bested the Bobcats earlier this season. In Dartmouth, they beat them 3-2, and Harvard 4-3. And Quinnipiac is just constantly getting in their own way during the third period, and they need to be better at playing the full 60 minutes. They lost to UConn in the last 0.5 seconds. They can't let that happen again.
Jack, I completely agree with you. This Bobcats team, I don't think it's possible for them. You got Dartmouth next up in Hanover, New Hampshire. That's a tough game in itself. The Bobcats are consistent at starting slow this year. They have multiple games over break where they did not start well, and if they did start well, they let up goals late. Because you just look at that Yale game last weekend. They started out 3-0. Yale came back, it was 3-2. Granted, the game went to 6-2, but teams always come back against them. And going down the stretch, you can't have that. And then another thing is injury-wise. I mean, we've seen players go down this year. I mean, Matthew McGrory went down this year, but he came back, thankfully. And I mean, this team has a tough stretch, especially with that trip up north to Clarkson and St. Lawrence to finish this year. I just don't think it's possible for them.
Well, we're going to have to take our first commercial break of the night, but stay tuned. When we come back, the guys will be debating their top 3 Bobcats over break. Stay with us, and we'll be right back.
Meet the scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Over break, the winter sports team stayed busy. Jack and Zach are here to break down their top 3 Bobcats over break. Zach, starting with you, who is starting your list at number 3?
Well, at number 3, EJ, I'm going to have to give it to Travis Treloar. The captain of the men's ice hockey team since the break started, had 9 points in the last 10 games, has led the team in goals with 12 this season. He sits 4th in points this year. He's a consistent face-off winner. That's crucial in hockey, for those of you that don't know. You need to get the face-off. That consistency is always going to help, especially on the power play, which he has been great on. He had a good power play goal last weekend where he missed the setup just barely. Jack, who's yours?
Well, for me, I'm going to have to go with the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Ricketts. Now, he has 4 goals so far this season in the AIC game. He had 3 goals in Princeton and 2 goals against Colgate. Colgate was an empty netter for his 100th goal, and he's just really good on the penalty kill, right? He's got lots of physicality. He's a big guy that he's going to push you around, and even when he's not scoring, he's still making an impact. He's the X factor that this team has, and even if he's not scoring every single game, he still has the ability to make an impact.
X factor is not the word I would use, but I mean, you can say that's certainly one way to describe it. I mean, I just don't agree. You look at the assist column, 2 assists in the entire season.
Who needs the assists when you got the physicality?
It doesn't matter.
You got the points, you got the physicality.
It's a team sport. What do you mean you don't need the assists?
He's making the room for the other people. That way the other people can go and give the assists back to him. When
this isn't Mighty Might hockey. You still need assists to contribute. I mean,
it's not all about the stats sheets.
I understand that, but 2 assists in NCAA hockey
so
as a forward is
what?
appalling.
So
that's
what?
appalling.
Look at those points.
That's appalling. How do you?
You might know better. You're the hockey guy. I don't know.
No,
I'm just the basketball guy. Who knows?
I get it. Basketball, 1.9 assists is groundbreaking, but 2 assists in the entire season is atrocious. Now, Jack, I'm going to go to my second player, and we're going to switch it up. We're going to head to the hardwood, and I think you know this player very well. My second player of the break, it's got to be Gal Raviv. I mean, how can you not have her on this list? She's been cooking as a first year all year. I mean, leads the team in points, steals, and assist average. As a first year, that's beyond impressive. 42% from the field, 30% from 3. I mean, she's been cooking that competition. I don't know if you can genuinely slow her down. You know, you got some games against Fairfield coming up. Those could be tough matchups. But the way she's been just playing with such confidence and such maturity at just 19 years of age is beyond impressive.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm a very big Gal Raviv fan. She's been making such a big impact for the team. But for my number 2 player, I'm going to go to the men's team, and I'm going to look at the slam dunk king himself, Caden Bennett. Now, you've seen the Sports Center clip. He has slam dunked it over and over again. In conference, he averages 13.8 points per game. That's more than Paul Otieno, and he started all 9 conference games. He basically took over Savion Lewis's starting job, as Lewis plays against Ryder, but Bennett was the one who got the nod at the start.
I think Bennett has also had a really good break. Jack, who is your third one on the list?
Well, my third one, I'm going to go a little bit different here, and we're not going to go for a player. I'm going to go with the fearless, focused Fabry. Now, Coach Fabry is a former player for the Fairfield Stags, so technically she is still a player, but now she's the coach of the Quinnipiac women's basketball team. She's got an all-time record of 531 wins. She's nominated for Coach of the Year and went 9-1 over break. She's created a winning culture with this massive depth on her team, and she is still yet to lose a game in regulation all season. The only 2 losses they have are in overtime.
I mean, I have to agree with you. My number 1 was also Coach Fabry. She's been straight up getting it done this year. Best start in program history, 16-2. That's just ridiculous numbers coming out of the MAAC. 5 games over break, had a double-digit victory. That's extremely impressive. Excuse me. My only concern is how the games against Fairfield turn out. We got the game on Thursday. That's in Fairfield.
In Fairfield.
That in a hostile environment, that will be tough. But if those games go good, I'm highly confident that this team will make its first NCAA berth since 2019.
Definitely. I 100% agree.
It's time to take another short break. When we return, we will take a look at women's hockey close to the regular season. Stay with us.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Yes. I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
Most of us, we're not gonna admit that we need to help.
You don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts. It can be really bad.
It's just a beautiful space when someone can trust you and say, listen, I need help.
Can't believe you're doing this alone. I've done it before. I remember. You threw your back out. How you holding up? Hand me that board. Nothing wrong with getting help. I'm good. I did it when Felicia left. I'll figure it out. I know you will, but you don't have to do it alone. That's all I'm saying. If I promise to look into it, will you drop it and help me build this fence? Now you need my help. It can be a real pain sometimes, you know that? Mm-hmm.
If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you're just joining us, I'm EJ Gorman alongside Jack Bergman and Zach Stokinger. This past weekend, the women's ice hockey team went 1-0-1 with a win over Yale and a shootout over Brown that goes down as a tie. The team currently sits in 5th place, 2.5 points behind Clarkson. How important would a first-round bye be for them knowing the top 4 teams received the bye? Jack, what are your thoughts?
Honestly, I don't really think it's that big a deal. Like, let's look at the college football playoffs so far. If you look, every single team that had a bye lost. It's better for them to steamroll a lower-ranked opponent and gain the momentum going into next week, because this is a very streaky team. They had a 5-game win streak against the number 5 Clarkson, number 7 St. Lawrence, OT over Dartmouth, Harvard, and LIU. And the win streak didn't even get snapped by a loss. It was because of a tie with number 8 Cornell. They've got several back-to-back wins, and there's only been one time this season where they've lost more than 1 game in a row.
Now, Jack, I'm a little bit older than you, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a history lesson here. Over the past, since the 2021-2022 season, the Bobcats have participated in 3 ECAC quarterfinals. The 2 times they advanced, 2022 and 2023. Do you think they were hosting back then?
Who knows?
They were. And were they hosting the quarters in last year in 2024?
I guess
they
not.
weren't, and they got swept by Cornell. So the fact that you think the bye is somehow not important is just mind-boggling.
But what
honestly.
you're telling me
No,
go ahead,
it's
say it,
mind-boggling.
say it.
Jack!
Go ahead,
Oh
say
my
it.
God, Jack! It is mind-boggling that you think the bye does not help a hockey
bye
team.
doesn't matter.
It
The
does.
home
Yes, it
field
does.
advantage
Yes, it
matters.
does. Yes,
There's a
it
difference
does.
between
the bye
bye and
definitely
home field
matters.
advantage.
The
You know
bye
that.
definitely matters. Are
What
you
about the
kidding
bye?
me? You may play 1 game against, I don't know, Harvard or RPI, where you genuinely have a shot to beat them out 10-0. But I genuinely cannot comprehend the fact that you think the bye is not perfect for this team. You need the bye to help reset, recoup, and go forward in the playoffs.
So what I'm hearing is you'd rather have them sit around on their butts for a week and do nothing?
They're not going to sit on
How
the
are they
bus.
gonna
They're
build
college
team
hockey
chemistry?
players. Of course they're going to practice. They're going to recover. It's a week off. It's a bye week. You need that. The NFL teams need it. Hockey players get 3 weeks.
Actually,
off.
NFL teams don't need it. The Lions are not in the Super
they
Bowl
don't need
last
it.
time I
Okay,
checked.
yeah.
They don't need it.
They need the bye, Jack. They need
The
it
only team
because
that's
it's
used
gonna
the bye
help
for
them.
good is
It's
the
gonna
Chiefs.
help them. There's gonna be less
Didn't help
wear
Detroit.
on the tires.
Didn't
and
help
when in
Detroit.
hockey, every year,
Didn't help
getting
Detroit.
late, you need tread on the tires to perform. And
Tread
if
on the
you
tires
do not
is no
have,
bye.
if you don't, oh my god, if you don't have tread on the tires, how are you gonna perform?
The tread is what you get from beating someone else.
Jack, this is no, Jack, no, it's not.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there, Zach. We're gonna switch to the hardwood, and both basketball teams have been off to a hot start, with each team at 8-1 in MAAC play. And which team do you have more faith in to finish the regular season stronger? I'm gonna go back to you, Zach. Who do you think will finish stronger?
In my humble opinion, I believe that the women's basketball team is going to finish stronger this year. This team has been hot all year. The men's team has not.
Yeah.
Both experienced teams, both great coaches. The women's team is just better on paper and through the eye test. The men's were strong in the MAAC, but have had bad losses to UMass Lowell, a mid-American East team, Stonehill, a bottom-tier NEC team, the conference that Quinnipiac left like 2 decades ago. And then you could also drop a game to CCSU, an in-state rival, in overtime. Granted, those games were a month ago, but still, even if it was a month ago, it's still a trend for a team. And if they're dropping those games, who says that they don't drop a bad game later on down the line, or they drop a couple, or they just put an absolute stinger down in Atlantic City? So I got to say the women's basketball team there.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and agree with you, but I'm just going to bring up one thing, and it's going to be the strength of schedules and the ability to be upset. I went through every single game for the rest of the year for the women's team and the men's team on ESPN Plus and looked at their predicted win percentage. And if you're looking at the women's here, you've got wins, big wins for them. Siena, they're projected to win 90%. Canisius 94, Niagara 96, Shoe 94, Iona 90, Manhattan 81, St. Peter's 93, Merrimack 94, Mount St. Mary, who they literally just lost to, they're still projected to win 79% because ESPN knows how good this team is. The only teams that they're expected to lose to are Fairfield. They're going to lose to Fairfield twice, supposedly. But do we really know if that's true or not? All the meanwhile, you look at the men's and you see teams like Fairfield, they're only 63% if they're going to beat them. There's not much of a chance. There's a real big chance for them to get upset by Fairfield, Siena, Shoe, Manhattan, St. Peter's. All these teams, the men's team doesn't have a projected winning percentage over 75%. And they're also predicted to lose to Merrimack as well. So that's going off of not just people that are part of student media. This is going off trained professionals who work for ESPN. They went through and looked at all this stuff, and you can't argue with the stats. There's nothing you can do to argue with the stats.
So you're saying that women's basketball is going to finish better?
Definitely.
Okay, I was confused a little bit. So, Jack, looking forward, I agree with the women's basketball take over the men's. Looking forward to Thursday, Fairfield, it's going to be such a struggle for the women's. I mean, what do they really need to do to get a victory down there?
Well, really, there's been one big difference between their overtime losses and the other wins that the team has, and that's been if they can land the 3-ball or not.
Mm-hmm. I mean, is that so? The 3-ball. So this team has been really reliant on the 3-ball. I mean, you got Jackie Grisdale back there, veteran leader. You gotta have the 3-ball in the modern game at all. For Fairfield, I mean, who do we have to shut down?
Exactly. Well, there are a lot of different players, but what I would focus on, as opposed to prepping for everyone else, is just prepping the current team that they have. Coach Fabry talked about in a press conference after the game that she needs to focus less on the other teams and focus more on her team and how she can craft her team to beat anyone. Fabry strongly believes that no matter who is on the other team, she has to focus on themselves. So with the stretch forward of Coranda Perea, she can shoot the 3-ball too. So if they can just get that 3-ball and they're able to attack the basket from plenty of different angles, they're going to win this Thursday.
Well, we have to take one more break here in Hampton, but when we come back, we will be giving our final roars, so stick with us.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. It's time for our final roars, and I'll start us off. Starting my broadcasting journey has been nothing but amazing. However, it has definitely come with some obstacles. Being an entertainer my whole life, I have always been able to perform well under pressure on a stage or during a game. But for some reason, whenever that camera hits my face, I tend to forget everything I once learned. Having to relearn everything was no easy feat, but with the help of friends and the people around me, I was able to make the switch from what I once knew. I started in the entertainment industry, which was a great starting point for me and allowed me to show off my newfound skills of being on camera, as well as being able to show my personality. Once I felt comfortable enough, I knew it was time for me to get into something I was also passionate about, which is sports. The biggest thing is to never give up. No matter how much time it may take, no matter how many things you may have to relearn, it will always be worth it. Never give up on your dreams, and most importantly, never give up on yourself. Because I once thought I could never do it, but look at me now. I did it.
Over my past 3 semesters here at Quinnipiac University, I've had the wonderful opportunity to do what I love, which is covering sports. I've had the opportunity to meet so many amazing and talented people, and I've had to bring my skill level up to a point that I never thought I could reach. What I would like to say to everyone watching tonight, take the risk. Taking risks, whether they work or not, there will always be new opportunities for you to take risks. When I joined student media, my motto was that I was willing to do anything to get my foot in the door. With that motto, I've had so many great opportunities, from improving my skills to having the opportunity to cover a game at a professional stadium and having to stay in New York till the early hours in the morning. Each time that I choose to go down a difficult path in student media, so many more opportunities opened up for me. I'm entirely thankful to what student media has done for me, and I cannot wait to take more risks and get more and more great opportunities to do the stuff I love. Thank you.
To build a program, you can't just have one player. You need a team. This season, the Quinnipiac women's basketball team has shown that in order to win games, it's a group effort. So far, there's been a lot of discussion about the first-year rising star Gal Raviv, but there are plenty of players on the team also making major impacts. Raviv is 4th in the MAAC in scoring and 7th in assists. She's been the spark this team has needed heading into the season. Captain Jackie Grisdale is 3rd in the league in three-pointers made and also top 15 in scoring. Within the top 20 are center Anna Foley and shooting guard Carson Martin. Forwards Coranda Perea and Ella O'Donnell round out the top 50. Coach Fabry continues to promote a winning lifestyle throughout the entire team, and the biggest part of their success is that depth. Having a versatile team with the ability to attack the basket from anywhere on the court keeps defenses constantly on their toes and promotes more scoring opportunities for everyone. This versatility can not only be applied to basketball, but can also be used in everyday life. Learning many different skills can help an overall career and can be pretty enjoyable too. So go out there. Try something new that you wouldn't have thought of doing. Get out of your comfort zone and enjoy the Quinnipiac experience.
That's all the time we have here tonight on Bobcat Breakdown. Thank you for tuning in and spending your evening with us. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports and check out our website at q30tv.com. Thank you to the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. For Zach Stokinger and Jack Bergman, EJ Gorman, have a great night, Bobcats.